What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today I have a very special guest for you guys in honor of Medical Ultrasound Awareness Month. And we have one of my Discord community moderators. This is Michael here.
Hi, guys.
And I'm so happy that he's here to celebrate with me and just kind of talk about ultrasound. He's very special because he is a cardiovascular sonography student. So today we're going to talk about a little bit of the life that he lives. He's not from where he's going to school. So he actually traveled to go to school. So I want him to share a story. He does have a little bit of a background in the healthcare field. So here's Michael.
Hi, guys. So I'm Michael. I'm from South Louisiana, but I'm currently stationed in Mobile, Alabama for school. And some very exciting news. I'll actually be moving here officially tomorrow. I will be an Alabama resident. So that's super exciting. I am a cardiovascular sonography student, like Giselle said, and I do have a medical background as well. I'm a certified EKG technician as well as a phlebotomist. Very passionate about cardiovascular health and everything to do with the heart.
I love that so much. Well, congratulations to everything that you've been doing on your journey. You guys, I've been following him from the beginning. He's really stepped up his game with school and the community and on Discord. So if you guys aren't in that Discord community, go check it out. You just have to DM me or email me at HTxlolgeselle so you can join us. But yeah, definitely Michael has been one of the people I look up to. He is a hard worker. I see everything that he does and it really shows. So one of the things I'm really interested in is that Michael's school is actually a certificate program. So if you want to share a little bit what that is, a lot of people ask me about certificates. So can you tell them a little bit about that?
Yeah, so I know that on your channel, you've mentioned a few times the different routes that people can take for sonography. So we have certificate, associates, and bachelor's degrees. The route that I've chosen to take and that best suited me was the certificate route. Now with the certificate route, typically you either have a bachelor's or master's degree or even an associate's degree prior to going into it or applying to the program. However, in my case, I have the equivalent number of credits to equivalent to an associate's degree. So it's not that I have a physical degree, but I have the same amount of credits. A lot of the credits are the typical credits that you would have for any allied health programs, such as A&P and biologies, different maths, sciences, Englishes, etc. So a lot of my classmates, we all have different backgrounds. Some of us have degrees in biology, some healthcare administration, some have associate's degrees, and some just have the credits. So the way that the certificate program works is we have different routes that we can take within the program. We have a 1-year cardiac certificate, which is strictly echocardiography for adults. We have a 1-year vascular track, which is strictly vascular technology for adults as well. We also have the cardiovascular route, which is what I'm doing. It's an 18-month program where we major in echo and do a minor in vascular. So we learn the full protocol of doing an echocardiogram. However, we learn the most common procedures of vascular. It does prepare us and allow us to sit for both registries. However, we do have to do a little bit of self-studying and on-the-job training as well for vascular. And then they also have the 2-year program, which is cardiac and vascular combined. You do a full year of cardiac and a full year of vascular. So you're fully registry eligible for both at the point of completion.
Wow, that's so cool. Sounds like you're at a really good program. Do you know kind of like how they produce, like how the produced students are afterwards? Do they find jobs right away? Do they recommend you, refer you to jobs? Like how does that work that you've seen?
Right. So our school does not have any sort of guarantee as far as getting a job or anything of that nature. However, almost all of their students seem to place in a job very shortly after, if not before, graduating their program. My school gets calls constantly, almost every day, from states around the country to promote cardiovascular sonographers. So on their Facebook page, they actually do post job listings quite often for different states as well as local, for cardiac, vascular, pediatric cardiac, etc.
That's amazing. Do you want to share what school you're going to?
So I actually go to the Cardiac and Vascular Institute of Ultrasound, which is located in South Alabama. So yeah, we're right here in Mobile, and it's a very small school, but very great one so far.
I love that. Yeah, you guys check them out because I actually follow them on Instagram and they seem like a really great program and they're developing obviously awesome students and sonographers, future sonographers. So definitely check them out. So I thank them for doing such a good job and I can tell already. So for you, what did you have to do, kind of to go into their program?
So whenever I was looking into their program, they do have all of their admission requirements and selection requirements on their website. I went into the website and looked, and it just so happened that a lot of the classes that they were looking for within those 45 credits actually lined up with my pre-nursing requisites, which was my original major. Of course, they want your standard A&Ps 1 and 2. They want medical terminology, a biology course, whether it be micro or general biology, statistics or contemporary maths, algebra, something of that caliber. So a lot of just general allied health classes and just your standard classes.
Yeah, that's awesome. Because I get that question a lot. What kind of classes do you have to take to get into ultrasound school? Or, what do I need to study before I try to go to ultrasound? Because actually, that's one of the questions from a lot of people who are in high school. They ask like, what should I study or what should I take? And those are honestly simple, like those general classes that you mentioned. So yeah, definitely check those classes out. So far, how has your experience been? And how would you say like the life is, like your daily life? Because I know you're not from Alabama, you're about to move there, but how has it been?
So I would say that it's definitely been pretty good, enough to make me want to move here from Louisiana. I never thought that I would move out of state, honestly, for school or for any purpose, but now I'll be living out of state as a permanent resident, which is crazy. But I really like the area. The school has been very welcoming. I really like that it's a small school, so you get a lot of hands-on, which I think is so important when going into any allied health field, but specifically sonography, because what we're going to be doing is a lot of hands-on between interactions with patients and actually using the equipment. So the fact that we only have so many students in our class, it's not like a typical class that has 30 plus students. We typically only have less than 20 students, usually around 12 to 15, I would say maximum, and usually a little bit less than that whenever you get into your upper classes. So you get a lot of one-on-one interaction with your instructors. And so they're just very, very genuine people. They're just hard enough on us to where we strive to do better, but they know when to have a soft spot for us. So when we really start to break down and have our moment, they know that we're human and they give us a break because they realize that they were once in our place. So I would say that it's just been awesome. And as far as the curriculum goes, I think that they genuinely do prepare us. Just the whole layout of the program, the fact that we do lecture for 3 months at a time, learn everything that we need to, and then go out there to the clinical setting, I like a lot because it genuinely prepares you and you don't feel ill prepared to go to clinicals. And you know a lot of things before even going out there and presenting yourself to the community in the hospitals, the clinics, etc.
That's amazing. So the preparedness is there and they're teaching you guys. And I love that you said that they know you guys are human. Sometimes, honestly, some schools just kind of like it's like a factory line and they just want to
Right.
push out students, and honestly, I think the best sonographers out there, they are the best because they were taught by the best people. And I think that you guys are going to be just fine. I think you guys are going to do great. And that's exciting. I like the small aspect too, because like you said, one-on-one, it definitely is important to get that one-on-one time, scanning time. And I'm just so excited for you to start your clinical soon. So do you have any information about how that's going to go yet?
So I do know that I am going to be at my clinical site in Pensacola, Florida. So I do have to make a little bit of a drive. However, it is totally worth it. The area is beautiful. I absolutely do not mind that commute. And I will be at my first clinic site for a total of 6 weeks. So we do 2 separate rotations during our 3 months of clinicals. They usually try to give us a site that's a little bit further away from where we live. And they try to give us either a hospital or a clinic, depending on what we were previously doing. So this is my first set of clinicals. So I just so happened to get the clinic site and a little bit further away from home, whereas some of my classmates got a hospital and a little bit closer. Some of them also got a clinic, but they are allowed to stay a little bit closer at first. They just really try to make it fair for all the students. Some of my classmates were able to go back home. So some of my classmates were also from Louisiana like me, and they did choose to go back to Louisiana. Others fly back out to different states depending on where they're from, as long as they have a clinic site lined up.
Okay. Oh, that's really cool. Wow. They really do try to help you guys get your sites. That's awesome. And that just kind of like gives me hope for other people who really don't know where to start or what to do. Like this is really great information for them. So hopefully they soak it all in and realize that sometimes you have to make that sacrifice for your future, going somewhere else.
Fortunately, it's not for very long. A lot of
Mhm.
our students, they do come and go for clinicals. So really, they're only gone from home for 3 months at a time, which is far more manageable than being gone from your home area for a total of a year or possibly 2 years or longer. Which is one positive benefit of the certificate program, but also even more of a positive advantage for this program specifically is that we are able to do clinicals away as long as we have a site lined up. So you are able to return home. We have students in our program from all states, anywhere from Hawaii to Michigan to Virginia to Tennessee and Alabama itself, Louisiana, Mississippi, all along the coast. So really
Dang,
everywhere.
what a beautiful school. I love that so much. Did you do your research and pick the school like that, or how did you find them?
So I actually found the school very interestingly enough from Facebook. Social media is such a blessing sometimes. A few years back when I was actually enrolled in my EKG and phlebotomy program, I am determined to believe that Facebook tracks everything we do and listens to us. So we were actually doing a chapter learning about other cardiac testing, which obviously echocardiograms is a huge one. And during that time, a ad popped up on Facebook for the school. And I just so happened to click it because I didn't know where they were located or anything like that. And I noticed that the school resembled the technical school that I was going to at the time in the way that they interacted with their students a lot. It was a smaller school. They had a heavy social media presence, and they really were doing a lot of good things for the public. I realized that it was in Alabama, and at the time I was tied down to Louisiana, and I never thought that I would move out. So we, unfortunately, in Louisiana only have one program in a 4-year university for cardiovascular. So that wasn't an option for me either. So thankfully, due time and a lot of life events taking action and different courses here and there, I was able to get the opportunity to move out of state. So just because of one Facebook ad that popped up, they stayed in the back of my mind. And when the opportunity presented itself, I definitely went for it.
That's amazing. Did they ask you that before how'd you find out about us?
So sometimes so we go through an interview process with the school as well.
Yeah.
And sometimes they'll ask, how did you hear of us and what got you interested in sonography and questions along that line. So I kind of gave them a rundown of my story.
You're like, good job on your abs. That's awesome. Oh my gosh, that's so cool. That's the thing, is like everything kind of happens for a reason almost. And look at you now.
That's definitely something that I would agree on. That is actually one of the biggest statements that I live by, is
Mhm.
that everything happens for a reason. And I was at first, for the longest, determined that I was going to be a nurse. And mostly my reasoning for becoming a nurse was wanting to go to become a nurse practitioner and then work in
Mhm.
cardiology, because that's what I've been passionate about since I've entered the medical field.
Mhm.
So I saw a lot of sonography going on and taking place, and it was just like, I want to do this. I don't really want to do nursing.
Yeah, that's so cool. And I always tell people too about EKG, like that could be a possible stepping stone as well as phlebotomy.
Oh, definitely. EKG and phlebotomy are amazing stepping stones. The market is a little bit more saturated, so it is a little bit harder to get out there and present yourself. However, I'm a fond believer that if you work hard enough and you take the right steps, you will have absolutely no problem building your education and your career. So that's exactly what I was able to do. And EKG, even to this day and beyond this day, for as long as I'm in my career of cardiovascular health, EKG will benefit me, and even
Yeah.
phlebotomy. Being that we scan veins and that we learn about veins and arteries and whatnot.
Yes, you have like the perfect, I think, story for everyone that needs to hear it, especially because sonography usually isn't people's first thought. And then sometimes people are like hesitant about sonography. So then you've got EKG there or phlebotomy on the side, which usually, how long does that take to do that kind of stuff? Do you know?
So my program was only 11 months, so it was divided in half. The way it worked was we started every Monday. Actually, more students would start, so you had no waiting period for when you would start the program. And trust me, even though that sounds odd, it just works. So whether you drop in on chapter 15 or chapter 1 of either EKG or phlebotomy, it would work out because you would come back around and it would all make sense.
Mhm.
So my program was 11 months. It was divided into about 4-ish months, 4.5 to 5 months, I would say, of EKG and phlebotomy.
Awesome. Yeah. So you guys definitely check out other little, stepping stones in the healthcare field. There's so much in the healthcare field, and that experience can also help you broaden your experience in the sonography field because obviously bedside is a huge, huge part of our job. Actually, this morning I got an echo for myself and it was really interesting. I honestly don't know what I'm looking at either. So I applaud you. But yeah, it was really cool to see her, do her little thing. And I know that you guys are going to do great as well on your guys' future journey. So
Thank you.
I'm so glad you're here. I appreciate you. Do you have any tips or advice for anyone that wants to go into cardiovascular sonography?
I would definitely say, kind of like you mentioned, like take any stepping stones that you're able to. If you're unable to get accepted into a program right away, maybe look for an EKG program or a phlebotomy program or just even a patient care tech program. Or if it's not education, maybe look into a small job in the medical field. Because once you realize and get out there and get your foot in the door, it opens so many doors and opportunities for you to further your career in sonography later on. There are so many places that I know that are potential employers because of my EKG career that I could pursue echo if I decided to with them, or even pediatric echo, or just any of those networking skills go so far in the industry. I mean, as we know, the sonography world is so small, and just having any sort of experience, hands-on or education, definitely benefits you a lot. And just a lot of reading and studying. Once you're in the program, just a lot of reading and studying.
Yes, 100%. I agree with all of that, everything you said. Reading and studying is basically your life. And it's just a short period of time, you guys. Think of it as
Yeah.
you're investing in your future. And then, as soon as you get that career, you have time to do whatever you want to do.
And I would say definitely don't lock yourself in on one modality. If
Mhm.
your options are not limited, I would say go for it, because my program also offers a pediatric echo course, and they also offer courses for general techs that decide that they want to bridge over into echo or vascular. So a lot of general techs do come to our school for those other courses. And it helps them because once they get burnout on scanning general, they can go into echo, or there are a lot of other options for people. They're not limited in sonography to scanning babies or abdomen or the heart or, vascular. They have so many options. And that's the beautiful thing about it, is there's so much to be learned. And even if you do pick one specialty like echo and stick to it, you will never learn everything about it. There's so much more to be learned. And my instructors who have been scanning for 7, 8, 9 years still say that there are things that they've only seen one time in person, or that they may have never seen, but they only see it in textbooks. And we might be able to see it in clinicals before we even get registered. So it's like, it's really such a varying field, and it's awesome to be a part of something that's ever changing, and that's only advancing.
Yes, I love that so much. It truly is. And that's the true part of it, is you never are going to learn everything. It's a forever learning experience. I mean, people on Instagram, they post all these things and I'm like, whoa, I've never seen that before. And I'm still learning every single day. There's still really hard cases and there will forever be hard cases.
Right. And that's the thing that I think I knew going into this that I was going to really like about sonography, is because I really like to be challenged. And even though I might gripe and complain about it at times, ultimately it's what I want, because I don't want, it's nice when something comes easy to you as knowledge or education, and it's great to get A's on all the tests. However, it's another thing to actually really be able to challenge yourself and make B's, struggle a little bit, make C's even, and have that room to know that you're still human, but if you really apply yourself, you're able to overcome those barriers and obstacles, and that you're truly able to learn the subject matter. Everything that I'm learning is not coming to me easily. There are some days where I absolutely love scanning, and there are some days where I absolutely dread it because I feel as though, I'm not doing that great. And, that's why it's great to have a good support system between your classmates and your instructors, because they understand you're human and what you're going through, because they were once there, like I had mentioned before, but they also know to push you because they know what they needed when they were a student. And that's the greatest thing about sonography. It's just like putting pieces of a puzzle together to make not only the best sonographer that you can be for yourself, but also for your patients, for the doctors, and to get the best images that you can.
Oh my God, I'm gonna cry. Whoever is teaching you all of this is amazing. Oh my gosh, that is so great. I'm so thankful you said all of that. I couldn't have said it better. You're saying everything my mentor has ever said to me, and she would be so proud of you right now.
I've definitely heard it from some of the best people, from some of the best sonographers, from watching YouTube videos, from hanging out with people in the Discord, and just overall being in the field. I just know what it's like to be a medical professional, and I know how hard it can be some days, but being a student again, it's almost like I'm humbled back down to learning again and being back in the place of a student. It's awesome. I like going back and forth because I never get too comfortable.
Yes, you don't grow in your comfort zone. And that's truly it. It's you have to be able to love what you're doing and be passionate about it, and knowing that you're doing your best and you're doing your best for this patient. And I always try to treat everyone like how I would want to be treated, or my family member to be treated.
Exactly.
And like if I have, like, for example, today I went to an echo, like of course I would want her to do her best job for me, just like I would do my best job for her, so
Exactly. Sometimes we need to be the student. Sometimes we need to be the patient, even, because it really brings us back down to what we're going to be dealing with every day, or what you do deal with every day. Once you're in the first person view of a patient, you really start to notice all the small things that you don't notice when you're working every day.
yeah, it's all these things that you don't ever think about. And sometimes that's the thing, like it can feel so, just another day, another scan, another day, another scan, but you have to realize what you're really doing. And it's actually a huge impact. And that's why I love that, like, we need more people like you in the medical field, because truly we know that there are people like you that feel this way too. And there's a lot of people who don't feel that way. So, we just got to spread more awareness and just remember that we're all human, and we're just trying to do our thing and get
Right.
through everything.
Like, one of my instructors, my scan instructor, her famous saying is, whatever you are having personal life at home, at work, whatever, whenever you come into either clinicals or the work setting, you leave it at the front door and you get to work and you put on the best face that you can for your patients, because whether you have one scan or 18 scans a day, each patient they don't really care. They don't know that. They don't know what it's like to be in your shoes. So you have to treat them all like family and empathize with them about what they have going on. Answer the same questions over and over, make the same jokes with them over and over, scanning the heart. Is it a boy? Is it a girl? Things like that. You just have to empathize with them and understand that they're going through a lot, and that a lot of their ways and how they treat you is a coping mechanism for them. Whether they are scared that they might have cancer, or they might have congestive heart failure, or they might be coming in because they think that they are perfectly fine, but they may have a terrible disease or illness that you were the first one to see. And you have to be able to treat them with compassion, whether they are perfectly normal or they are the sickest patient you've seen in your entire career.
Yeah, it's something that I think nobody really realizes or understands until they're actually out there and doing it. And because you've got a medical history, I know you've seen it and stuff, but there are also some people who are really scared about the fact that they don't know if they're going to be able to handle some of the things that we have to deal with. And what would you say to those people who think like they want to do this, but they're nervous on how to kind of disassociate what's happening between them, being the sonographer and then being a human being and something going on with that patient? Because, we all have emotions and feelings, and it's a hard job.
Right. So The main thing that I have to say about that is it really does vary person to person, obviously, how people process their emotions and what other people are going through. I would say that I am very blessed in the sense that I am able to comprehend, understand, and process a lot of those feelings a lot better than some people. I process things like death and illness very well, which is unfortunate for patients. However, it is very good for a healthcare professional because it doesn't affect me nearly as much as it would someone else. Because the truth is, working in the medical field can really take a toll on your mental health as well as your physical health, which are tied together. And if you don't take care of yourself, then you're not going to be able to treat your patients. And a lot of people go into this thinking that they can handle it, and they can't. And it doesn't always mean that you can't handle anything in the medical field. It just means that maybe you need to change things up a little bit. Maybe you need to, even as small as when I would have a bad day in the hospital, I would wake up one morning, I would say, today I'm going to find something positive in absolutely everything that I do today. So when something inconveniently small would happen that was negative, I would say, but on a positive note, this or something very similar to that. It helps trick your brain into feeling a lot better about what's going on.
Yes.
And that's just how you have to cope with things. And not only that, but realizing when you've had enough, you need to understand your boundaries, because if you push those boundaries too far, it can be very unhealthy. Like I was saying, a lot of it depends on what you're doing in the medical field. So for example, I may be able to handle adult sonography just perfectly fine. Maybe I wouldn't be able to handle pediatric sonography. Or maybe I wouldn't be able to feel comfortable doing OBGYN, but I'm perfectly fine doing abdomen or vascular procedures. It really depends on the person and what they're able to handle. I personally can handle things with pediatrics very well. It doesn't bother me nearly as it bothers a lot of other people. That's a very touchy subject for a lot of people because they're not able to see kids unwell. A lot of mothers, fathers, or just people that really sympathize too much with their patients, it really affects their health. And that can really go bad, really south, and can really be career ending if you're not able to process those things in a healthy manner.
Yeah, that's true. So they definitely have to look at what they're doing and what they want for themselves, what they can handle emotionally. And there is so much out there for everyone to do. They just have to find what it is that they are passionate and, that they can handle per se. So where do you see yourself in the next few years after you graduate? Do you see yourself in a hospital, a clinic?
So I definitely think that I am more of a hospital person. I love the hospital setting. I love the amount of pathology that you are able to see. I love seeing open heart surgeries. Like, I am obsessed with the hospital setting. In the next few years, I would definitely like to see myself registered in adult and pediatric cardiac sonography, as well as vascular. I would maybe like to see fetal as well if I'm able to get that far within that time period. Definitely just all things heart and vascular, and long term, maybe, different specialties, but I am definitely ultimately obsessed with cardiac.
I love that so much. Thank you for sharing everything that you did today.
You're
You are
welcome.
awesome. I'm so glad that you are going to be a future sonographer. Can't wait to
you.
see how it goes. Obviously, I want to get you back on here in the future. I'm sure I'm sure we'll see you on the podcast
and on the Discord.
Yep, on the Discord, you guys. If you really want some more information from Michael, he's over there on the Discord. He's one of our moderators and he is awesome. He'll answer you in there. So come and join us. If you have any questions, you can comment below and we'll get those answered for you. But obviously you can tell that he's very knowledgeable and he's doing great in his program. So I'm just so proud of you.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
If you guys have any questions, I am more than willing to answer them, and I would happily give anyone the information that I can.
Yes. Anything else you want to tell them before we head on out?
I think that's pretty much it. I think I covered a little bit of everything. Like I said, if you guys have any questions whatsoever, do not be afraid to ask. And just the main thing is just stay positive, look forward, keep studying, and just really, if you're passionate about something and you truly want to get to those end goals, you are able to do it.
Yes, you guys, you can do it. The only thing that's stopping you is you and your fears.
Exactly.
Don't let it stop you.
You are your biggest enemy.
Truly. But thank you so much, you guys. Thank you, Michael, for being here, and hopefully we'll see you guys in the next video.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Guys.
Bye.